Welcome to Keeper of Secrets Tarot. I am Gypsy Girl, here to bring you another reading for Aries. This is a reading for the person most on your mind. Thank you, Spirit, for protecting and keeping the collective safe, for protecting me and keeping me safe. Aries, I thank you for your likes, your subscribes, and your shares. Most of all, for showing up. I'm using the Green Witch Tarot by Ann Moura, and the Oracle deck for the energy between you and the person most on your mind, Aries, is the Arin Murphy-Hiscock Green Witch's Oracle. I had to put them together. They're not from the same, as you can clearly understand. They're not written by the same. Right? I don't even think they came together at any point to make this collection of Green Witch's tarot and oracle decks. It's actually, the illustration is by Sara Richard. So Arin and Sara got together, and I think her art is done by Kiri. Yeah, I wrote it in the description who the creators are, but I was drawn to bring them together, and I find they work well together, these decks. Aries, I'm blathering on. I have the Lover's Oracle. Again, there's no author connected to this Lover's Oracle for the thoughts of the person who's on your mind, but that's okay, because it's out there, and I like that energy of rogue authors. They're not written in, or maybe it's an error on the publisher's part. They just save money by not naming them. Who knows? I digress. Aries, person most on your mind. It is a 9-card spread, and I've taken quite some time to get to your reading. It's not done on purpose. I've been quite busy, and I don't like that I have to struggle to get my readings in. But I find that I'm doing that for this month. Let's hope for September it's going to be a little different. Anyway, I'm starting up September reads right after I complete, and I have just your reading and I think 2 others to do. So September zodiac reads are coming out right away. I thank you, Spirit, for protecting and keeping the collective safe, for protecting me, keeping me safe. Aries, I thank you for your likes, your subscribes, and your shares, but most of all, for showing up. Okay, let's see. Let's start at the top here. The first card, if you follow my person most on your mind, the first card is the situation between you. I choose the cards at random, as you can see, and the second card is how you are responding to this situation. I always have to adjust because the cards are small, but I go at an angle and it cuts out from, there we go, see, cutting out on this side. Okay, let's follow this scene here. And we have Spirit's advice, how you deal with Spirit's advice, how the person most on your mind deals with Spirit's advice, how the potential outcome is the 7th card, and of course that's liable to change. The 8th is how you deal with the outcome, and the 9th is how the next person, or the person most on your mind, is going to deal with the outcome of this read. Again, nothing I say is written in stone, and of course you must take the messages as they resonate. And I'm having my coffee with you again. All right, so we take it from the top. Oh boy, you saw me shuffle. Quite a bit of shuffling going on to bring up the devil between you. Wow. Aries. Okay, so it could be an obsession in some form that you have between you. The situation is obsessive. Could be It could be bad, it could be good. Usually obsessions are not very good, but it's a lot of work. Well, this is they call this one nature, not so much the devil, because it's a question of tending to nature, taking care of what needs to be taken care of, and again, the needs, what you need, and getting what you need and not getting what you need. And in some cases, it's not getting what you need from each other. And that situation could be because one or both of you are really paying attention to what you need rather than what the other person needs, and not including the other person, you see? So take it as it resonates, because some of you may be quite obsessed with the person most on your mind. You can't stop thinking about them. You want to be with them, and you're doing whatever it takes to get to them. You could be overindulging too. You could be holding back in some cases. Others of you, it's a question of really holding on to what you have, or not holding on. In other words, wanting to let it go, or feeling the need to let go, because I did say need at the beginning here, and filling and fulfilling the needs of the other person. You must fulfill your needs first in order to be able to provide for the next person. So we have quite a few scenarios playing out with the devil card, because again, it is the devil card. Oh boy, we have a high arcana coming out strong here. Aries, on your side, we have the world card. So something is completed. A cycle is over. It's a difficult cycle for some because of that snake. And that snake, I really don't like that snake. When I see it, it's very vicious. And the fact that it's black, it's very dark. So not a painful cycle for some of you. It's been completed. And it's a question of letting go of hurts and drama, and being controlling, or being controlled, or feeling that you are being controlled, or feeling that you need to control a situation. You need to let it go. Quite a lot of need here. But where we are on your end, Aries, the world card, it's a very positive card. It's not to say that it's difficult. What was difficult is now over. You have come through with flying colors, as we like to say. You've come through with a succession where you have to let what was in the past be of the past. Of course, you won't forget, especially if it was a hurtful time that you went through, but nonetheless, you have succeeded. Spirit is smiling on you because you've come to completion of a particular cycle. And I say a particular cycle. It's not just one thing that we go through. We go through many things at the same time. It's a question of how you deal with it. So rising above comes to mind here, where you've been able to overcome a certain difficulty or certain difficulties, particularly with people, because we see the devil card here. It is a connection. It is a form of connection or disconnection. You're able to decipher. You're able to, I don't want this. You're able to say, I've done what I needed to do now. I'm moving on. That's the state where you're at. And the person most on your mind, they are open to, it's so uncanny, these cards. Okay. Queen of Cups. Sorry, I have a bit of an allergy. It's distracting me, but the uncanniness is these two cards were together in the last read. And, well, together. They were in the last read. It's just the way they're falling together here. Queen of Cups. it is a feminine quality that is being brought up with the person most on your mind. So please, if it is that you are thinking of a masculine image here, then the femininity is in that they are committed, they are open, they are very nurturing, and they're very understanding, and they're very loving. Now they're very patient too. They're waiting. It's a form of okay, I'm good. I feel good about me. I'm good with me. I'm loving myself, and I have so much to give, and I'm ready to give. I'm waiting for my cup to meet up with another one. I'm holding on to what I have, and I'm good within my skin. Is the next person, or the person most on your mind. Their psyche is very balanced. They're able to uphold and be open to the next thing coming. Sorry about that. I just had a little bit of a disturbance. So here we see Spirit's advice, the 10 of Athens. Well, here it's quite clear to put the burden down. And another completion, Spirit is saying, you've come to the end. It's a confirmation of what I was just saying here about you having completed a cycle. Here you will put down the burden. That's what Spirit is saying. Put down the burden. You've come to the end, or you are at the end. If you haven't completed, if you haven't put it down, if you haven't let it go, according to what needs to be let go. If you haven't already, then it is coming. You're following with Spirit's advice. If you feel a relief or release, or if you want to release from someone or release someone, in other words, let it go. Your reaction to that is bringing back things into balance. It is recognizing, again, it is a two. So you're really looking at both sides of the coin, if you will. And here it is a question of bringing things back into balance because you have completed a cycle. Now, of course, we can always say things are in reverse and you're not letting go, or you're having difficulty, or you're feeling the bite of that snake with whatever you've been through, and you're having difficulty coming to that end, and this is where the burden is. You see, the Spirit is saying, yes, I know you have a burden, and I know it has been burdensome, what you've been going through over the past months or years even, depending on your situation. But it is all for you to come to terms and make a choice. Because you can't have it both ways, as we like to say. You need to really pay attention to one thing at a time. Aries, if it is that you have too many things going on, where you're working 2 or 3 jobs, or you have different relationships going up and down with other people, you're feeling that your relationships, whatever kind you have, work, friendships, romance, etc., you're feeling pushed and pulled in between because you want to be in a particular relationship, well, Spirit is saying you gotta just let the cards fall where they may. You have to let go of one thing in order to keep something else, or you have to let go of everything in order to have everything. It goes deep here, but then that is what this card represents. It's long, hard lessons, and coming from those lessons is this result where you will pick one. In other words, you will, okay, I'm going to do this thing, or I want to be with this person, for example. Either way, you're making up your mind. It's a slow process. It's not going to happen overnight. It takes a little while. And same thing goes for the person or most on your mind. It's so uncanny. All the cards I could pull from one reading to the next, and the same ones are coming around. And that would have been Aquarius was the last one I did. So if you if you are dealing with an air sign, or you have quite a bit of air in your chart, you might want to look at the Aquarius read. But that is just to say that these three cards are showing up again. The person most on your mind is holding back a bit, and again, she does that. She keeps things to herself, especially if the situation calls for patience and just dealing with going into that inner turmoil, or dealing with the shadow side, as we like to call it, where we need to work it through and think about what has been going on, or think about my behavior, or how the person most on your mind has behaved. They're holding back from probably giving more because they've been very giving, or they're holding back because they realize that you are not available. And they're not quite sure that they can go forward with you. There's a bit of doubt, and that doubt is coming from the situation in itself, and the burden here lies upon their shoulder. Maybe they're feeling that they have to give more than they can, or that they have been given more, paying more attention to your needs because of her loving side, that Queen of Cups. Or it could be that they are feeling that they have to do more work, because at the end of the day, this Ten of Wands does indicate that more work needs to be done, but you're coming to the end of it, you see? And Spirit is saying that final effort to reach the end is where you're at. And for them, it may mean that they need to open up and share, be a little more giving on the emotional side. See, here it is reflecting on the Pentacles. So the values, what they hold dear, they're keeping that closer. That's what she's got in her cup, keeping it closer to herself, not wanting to share. She is seeing, I say she, the Queen of Cups may be the reflection in the person here, in the deck, in the card, where they know that there's someone who's come, and they're hiding away what would be valuable because they don't want them to come and take it. Because if they let them in, they're feeling they will be robbed. And this is probably what the person most on your mind is feeling, that what they have to offer is so valuable that they're feeling a little selfish with it because of the situation. Now, we have to be a little more understanding on your part. If it is that you are dealing with more than one individual in a romantic state, then the person that you may be thinking about is reflecting that where they are. If they're very intuitive, because that's what she represents, they're picking up signals that they are not first, they may be second or third on your list as being dealt with, because you're so busy dealing with other people that they're feeling that you don't have time and energy for them. And that is where the burden is on the relationship. Again, obsession. Could be overworking, doing too much. Final outcome for this read says the star is the result. Now, the star is destiny. Now, when we think about it, the destiny here could be in a form of consequence, because if you keep doing what you do, you're going to get the same result that you've always received, because you keep doing the same thing. If you're treating relationships as if it is work, then you're going to have to find more work. But if you are looking at the relationship as, I want to be with this person, and simply being with them, that is a result that will come. if it is that you put the effort in. But you see, it is what you deserve from your actions. Again, these two cards here are hemming in what would be a relationship that could be rather than what would be. Hemming in the sense where the obsession is there, the work obsession, that I need to do, I need to control, I need to be in charge. Fine. You do that, then the lack of trust will come in. That lack of, I want to open up and be with you, that is not going to come easily. And that is where destiny plays its part. Where if you, like I said, if you do what you've done before, then the same result is what is going to come. Being that it is the 10 of Wands and it is at the end of a cycle, being that it is the World card, that also confirms the end of a cycle. The only thing that's going to happen now is the cycle is going to start up again. You have a second chance, in other words, and it's not even a second chance because it plays itself out. The slate is cleaned. You've done the work, whatever work it is. Now you have to start all over again, because that's what happens when you get to the 10. It turns into the 1. Same as the 21. You start at the Fool. The Fool is now on a new journey. Now that new journey can take on the same aspects as the previous one. The difference in that is that the tests that come now, because we're being tested, this is the whole reason why we're here. The test that's going to come is going to prove your destiny. Are you going to do the same thing again? Are you going to behave the same way? Are you going to, if you reach forward, because we have the 4 and the 2, and that is the 6, it's a question of being open, honest, generous, rather than selfish and recoiling away from a relationship. This is where you get to choose. You see? Now, if the habit is that you keep focusing on other people and what is otherly important than the next person or the person that you're thinking about, the person most on your mind, if they are taking on a back seat because your work or whatever you're into is priority, then that scenario will play itself out again. Because they're not just going to go away. They're going to be on your mind. Again, the obsession. Keeping them on your mind. Keep thinking about them. Doesn't mean it's a good thing. But are you able to let it go? Are you able to shift gears? Are you able to say, well, on this journey, or I want to make amends with the person most on my mind and have another journey with them, but I will be more open so that they will open up, because that's destiny for you. Here we have the 8 of Pentacles. So according to this reading, you're going to put that effort in because you've been thinking about them. Can't get them off your mind. You see that the cycle is over and the spark, the light, your focus is on, I really want to be in a relationship. This is the person I'm thinking about and I want to be with them. I can't get them off my mind. I'm going to put the effort in. Again, destiny. But then that's what you were doing before. You were working hard at whatever it was that you were working on. So is this going to turn into a vicious cycle? Coming into, okay, I just rearrange my priorities, but then we fall into the old habits. You see? Be very careful, Aries, because you have that tendency to be overindulgent in what you want, focusing on yourself, what's good for me. And that's not a bad thing, but then like anything else, too much of a good thing is not good. Looking forward to having a relationship is what you may want somewhere in the journey of this life. You're thinking of the person most on your mind. You want to be with a loving, caring, gentle person. But then when you get into it, old habits pick up and then destiny takes over. The work that you're going to do is just that. You're paying attention to what was done. You've learned something from the bite of that snake. You have learned something. Many things, in fact. But the something is in, I need to pay more attention to the needs of the person most on my mind, for example. How they are going to respond to that. Again, you're all both on the same page when it comes down to the ethics of what is needed and the time that it takes for things to happen. That is a deep understanding that you both have. She here, again, feminine qualities. This does not mean that it's only reflecting on women for the person most on your mind, but it is that the feminine quality of independence, self-sustenance. She is very balanced here. If you are dealing with a male, then they are very balanced in the loving, nurturing, caring aspect, as well as being able to provide for and want to provide for. They want to do that work that you are looking into. They already do that work. Not to say that you are beneath them, but you are on the same page when it comes down to, I really want this. I'm going to work at it until I get it, because that's what this would mean on different levels. Here's the action of paying attention to the details. Here's the satisfaction of knowing that I can do it. I've done it and I'll do it again. That's destiny for you. Here we have the Four of Cups. So again, it's this sense of healing, that snake bite, that sense of boredom, the lethargy that comes in with, okay, I've done this. Am I going to do this again? Do I really want to? Are we going down that road? They don't trust. They don't trust. They have that feeling of, I need to keep things to myself. It's another 4. You see? It's another 4 there. And then we have our 8 of Wands. So it's a form of communication, travel, journey. Maybe that's what you're thinking, that maybe they want to communicate with you, or you want to communicate with them. You want to reach, because you're paying attention to the details, maybe being a little closer, maybe showing that you have done the work, that you want to be closer to them. They are waiting for some kind of indication that they can open up and share with you. And the only way to have that come is to reach out and communicate. Share the details. Go over what was. 6 of Pentacles. So we're looking at being a little more generous and opening up to taking a trip, or being a little more generous in communication. And then we have the Ace of Wands, wanting to start, wanting to communicate. Again, it is destiny if you play into what you really want and pay attention to what you have too much of or not enough of. Because here it seems that it's either too much of something or not enough of anything in particular. Here we have the waiting at the door, waiting at the door. Could be that you need to reach for them openly, because the door is open here. See, the door is open here. They're waiting. They're not paying attention because they're so focused on, I've had that, I've had that, I've had that. And they're really deep into the, all right, I'm not sure if I really want to go into this. And they're ignoring that. But you need to speak up a little more. And have that generosity. And show that there is a creative side to this relationship, that you can explore something new. Spirit is given that. This is the one, the 10 here. Here's the Ace to start up again. If it's a confirmation you're looking for, yes, you can begin again. Yes, you are destined to have something good come. There is satisfaction to be had in this relationship if you put the effort in. Again, putting the work effort in, making it happen, dealing with the next person in a more fair way. Again, we have Ace of Pentacles. Satisfaction brings in the 10th Pentacle, the 9 of Cups. Again, could be overindulgence for some. Putting an end to that and having a new beginning come, settling down, really knowing, being grounded, because they are. Paying attention to those details of having a grounded relationship with this person, seeing that they are destined, you are both destined to cross paths in this life, and what you do with that relationship is really up to you. The destiny is in that you have made connection. That is destined. You've already made connection because they're on your mind. 7 of Pentacles with the King of Swords. So really determined to go that step further. We'll stop here because it is about paying attention to the details. Let's see what the energy is between you, Aries, and the person most on your mind. Really needing to have another cup of coffee. So early in the morning. But I love doing the reads early. I think I'll do that again. What is the energy of the person most on your mind, Aries? Hedge. Okay, it's between you. You're sort of like in limbo. Okay, this is my crystal. You're in limbo here. Potential. There's boundaries. Indecision. Again, that 2 of Pentacles. The hedge. Let's see. This is between you. They are on the I'm not sure if I want to let you in with what I have to give. I'm not sure I want to trust you with what I can offer you. I can take care of myself. I'm a little bored with being treated like leftovers, or I'm not priority, and I feel I'm not priority. And yet I'm so loving and giving, and I want to be loved and pampered. She does. She's able to give it to herself. And it's not, again, for the male aspect of this, they need to feel that they are appreciated as men go. That they are able to provide, that they're able to reach into the feminine, their femininity, and be caring and nurturing and gentle. To have their counterpart treat them as if, well, yeah, okay, I know you're there, and so what? That's not fair, is it? 6 of Pentacles. Somebody wants to be treated fairly. And I think it's the person most on your mind, Aries. The hedge. Let's see the hedge. But you both have to take that step. They have to feel that they can come forward, or at least open up. So we have the hedge, or natural boundary serves. The hedge, or natural boundary, serves 2 purposes: to define a safe zone, protecting you from what's outside, or to keep you in one place, like a pen. The hedge card asks you to review your own boundaries and and how you respond to boundaries created by others. Again, this feeling blocked, this 4 here and this 2, it really puts a finer note on, I'm taking care of me, I'm taking care of everybody else. And again, it comes to the 6. Be open and generous. And lift the boundaries, or at least respect the boundaries. A hedge is also a symbol of moving between 2 states of being, or 2 worlds. Riding the hedge is a phrase used to describe spirit's journey, where witch's awareness travels to acquire information and undertake new experiences. You see that here in this card. that journey of new experiences and really digesting what you've learned and then coming through. It's a transformation. The snake, as much as I don't like to see it, it is there for a reason. It tells of being transformed, evolving from what was to what can be. A new beginning opens up, a new you, in other words. The hedge belongs to neither world, being the liminal space between the two. If you are in that liminal space, it's time to choose which side to step into for now. You can't stay there forever. Again, evolution is just that. You evolve. And what triggers you to move forward is that experience or those experiences that have either crushed you in some form, that hurt you, because there's a poison that you need to digest and go through and suffer. I mean, some of us, it's very deadly. Think of illnesses that you may have had, or accidents, or just emotional or psychological abuse that you've been through over a period of time, and how far back you want to go with that is really up to you. But you have grown from those experiences. Again, it's a darkness that you need to work yourself through when it comes down to setting up boundaries, because you have to be hurt in order to become strong. You have to be weak in spirit in order to become spiritual. At some point, you have to be broken down in order to rise up. And your soul and my soul connected with rising above in this card, filling the need in this card, putting down the burden in this one, meaning that there had to be a burden to begin with. Do you need to be firmer about how you allow others to impact you? Or are your boundaries so strong that you push people away? Again, looking into the Two of Pentacles, you have to be bombarded by more than one person to have this card show up and say, well, you're juggling this one against that one, or this thing, this project. You have too many things going on. That obsession here, where you have too many things going on at the same time, is because you're lacking something within, and that is where you need to go take a look. That's the snake that you need to battle with. Why you have that tendency to take on too many projects, for an example. All right, so between you, they have the same situation. They're over giving, or they're depressive, that state of depression where I don't get what I want, so I get depressed, or I become needy. Maybe you're trying to fulfill their needs, and it got to the point where it's just they would become overbearing, and now you feel that pressure, and Spirit is saying to put that burden down. Let it go. Let's see the thoughts. This is a very deep read, especially with those two arcana, the Devil and the World card. That opens up huge cans of worms, bringing in shadow readings, which I will do. That's something that I have planned. And Aries, you're the first one to hear about that. I've not mentioned it before, but it's because I recognize it in your read here, and I find that is something that the end of 2025 is bringing, where we really need to work on those shadows that we try to ignore, we try to hide away with work or projects or people even. What are the thoughts of the person most on your mind, Aries? Let's see. What are the thoughts of the person most on your mind? I'll do a quick little shuffle here. Again, okay, I am just going to say it. Listen to Aquarius, because this is the same card that came up. That sense of trapped belongs with our devil card here. That being restricted, being tied down, held captive. Just can't stop thinking about the person. This is the person most on your mind. They are thinking that either they are trapped or you are. I mean, take it as it resonates. I can't, it's just one word that comes up here. Releasing is what we said earlier. That we need to let it go. That's the advice of Spirit. They are thinking the same thing. I can go on my own. I can do what I want. If I have to live in a pen, then I don't want to. Feeling left out, walking off or walking away, feeling cold treatment because you're paying attention to other people or other things. You're not giving them time of day. They're feeling, well, I'm going to just keep what I have because you're not giving me any attention. Finality, farewells, closure. Again, destiny will prevail on that one, where you don't change what you do, you will get the same results. You must change something, work it out, talk, reach for them, because they're thinking it's over. They can go on their own. They're independent. Again, the divine masculine. I kept coming back to that. I don't know how this resonates, but they're thinking that if I am, because this is their thoughts, if I am the man, I am going to be the man. If I am indulging in my feminine side, then I'm going to become more of a masculine. And this is representative of that, where I am a provider, I'm a caregiver. I will give to those who need, and I will give to myself. On that note, Aries, I thank you for your likes, your subscribes, and your shares. Until our next read, love and light.